Reverend Dr. Raymont Anderson is an ordained Centers for Spiritual Living minister serving the Center for Spiritual Living Greater Baltimore community as our spiritual director. As a lifelong learner with a passion for self-development, personal transformation, transmutation, and transfiguration, he has frequently been referred to as a Renaissance man and visionary New Thought leader who makes complex metaphysical concepts readily understandable and applicable. His mission is to live, move, and be an active member of society who serves to educate, elucidate, and emancipate people and communities to awaken and empower themselves. ACTIVE is an acronym which stands for authentic, compassionate, transparent, inspired, vibrant, and empowered. And he continues to live his bliss as a teacher, minister, author, workshop and seminar facilitator, visual artist, ASL interpreter, and ASL performing artist, mentor, father, grandfather, and more. I give you Reverend Dr. Ray.
Just so y'all know, there's a want ad for a position. Reverend Ray is seeking a new administrative assistant because Tracy has finally. Renuka, you want the job? Good morning, CSL, Greater Baltimore. So as you have already heard today, we are talking about this idea of living your dream. Now, according to this little blurb, we're talking about, living your dream in terms of your profession and, how you have this opportunity to discover, and develop your passion and your bliss and your blah, blah, blah. Yes, yes, yes. All of this. And as we're going into this, I want us to think about this idea of, do you have a dream or are you the dream? Pause and take that in for a second. So think about Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We know there's the I have a dream speech. But what if part of that speech is actually saying, I am the dream of those who came before me. I am the living expression of my parents' dream, of their parents' dreams, of my ancestors' dreams. I am the dream of those who came before me. I am the dream of those who currently support me, those who believe in me, those who currently need me, those who walk with me. I am the dream of source, of spirit, dreaming itself into existence. Now, living that dream means I have to recognize and accept it and embody it. Pause, breathe, because in order for us to do that, we really have to break down a couple of things. One, when we generically talk about dreams, there are a variety of meanings. I mean, we know this because that's how English is. One word could have several different conceptual forms of expression. And so for linguistic convenience, we often just throw a word out there without really excavating, exploring, and getting clear on what we mean. So dream, a series of thoughts, images, or emotions occurring during sleep. Okay? An experience of waking life having the characteristics of a dream, such as visions, being a visionary, creating of the imagination, a state of mind marked by some kind of abstractions, some kind of separation or releasing from quote unquote reality, the condition of being lost in thought, as in daydreaming. Get that so far? Because we're going to go even deeper. However, number 3, something that is notable or noteworthy because of its beauty, its excellence, or some enjoyable quality. A strongly desired goal or purpose. Something that fully satisfies a wish, an ideal. And as a transitive verb, dream is to consider something as a possibility. Now, theoretically, whenever we say, do you have a dream? It's something related to any of these. I have a dream. You need to stop daydreaming, stop dreaming, get a real job. All of the ways we throw dream in there. Last night in my dream, blah, blah, blah. When I moved from corporate occupation 9 to 5 to doing this full time, I'm now living my dream, right? You get my point. We use this in a variety of ways. And if we're going to live as the dream, then it's very important for us to get very clear. Good old Ernest Holmes says, all our beautiful dreams, all our wishing and praying for material good will reach no higher, right? Will reach no higher. Once again, we got to say it again because you got to be clear on this. Will reach no higher level in our experience than our belief in the power of Source, Spirit, God, and its willingness to help us. Now, don't think about this and its willingness to help us as an anthropomorphic thing. Its willingness to be what it is in us, through us, as us, around us, with us. It's all of that. But our dreams, our wishes, our prayers, etc., all of that will only go as high as our mental equivalent in relation to what we believe about the power of this thing we call God to show up in our lives, around our lives, and as our lives, as us itself. You've heard me say many times, Ernest Holmes reminds us, there is no God that you will understand or have an intimate relationship with other than the one that you embody. So if we're going to talk about living the dream, being the dream, then we have to ask, well, what is my mental equivalent about it? In our culture and society, we are quick to say things like, if you can dream it, you can do it. Let your dreams come true, as Tracy would say. Follow your dreams. Now, keep in mind, if we go back and think about dreams, what are dreams? Your imagination, the thoughts you think, all of this stuff, the things you envision, then aren't nightmares dreams? Aren't they dreams? Yes. And many people are living the dream, but the dream they are living is a nightmare. People living in war-torn countries, they're living a dream, but that dream is a nightmare. The transatlantic slave trade, nightmare. The Holocaust, nightmare. We could go on. So it's important to not simply talk about live your dream, but be very clear on what that dream is. And be very clear, am I talking about it in a way where it's just this generic, stereotypical, whatever that is, rather than what kind of when Frank said SMART goals, what was the S in the acronym? He said specific. Specific means be clear. Like have 2020 vision with your dreams, be very clear. Well, that means I have to know what I desire. I have to know what I desire. You know, there's this movie with Idris Elba and Tilda Swinton, 3,000 Years of Longing, about a jinn, a genie, and this idea of granting people their wishes, granting them what they desire. And most people don't know what they desire, which is why when they wish for something and get it, they're like, oh man, this isn't really what I wanted. So why'd you wish for it? Why was your mental equivalent anchored and grounded in it to manifest it and demonstrate it for you to experience it if it really isn't what you wanted? Well, because I don't really fit with the practice to know what I want. Why not? Because it's easier to not do it. Then don't say it's something you want if you're not willing to do, if you're not willing to put in the. See, check this out. I love the fact that we have these amazing musical artists who perform at CSL Greater Baltimore, because I can guarantee you that Felicia does her work, right? Felicia doesn't sit around and say, well, let me see. Today I'll just roll the dice and, I'll just get in front of the microphone. Felicia said, what did she say? A song that I wrote. That's from the inside out. A song that I wrote. I'm giving you of my soul. A song that is meaningful to me, that I'm sharing and gifting to you. Right? You're getting what I'm saying. Felicia puts in the work. That's walking the walk, practicing the practice. Specific. There's specificity in. So what do I want to? That means she sits down at some point with pen or paper or typing or whatever her process is, but there's some process of availing herself to this melody, these words, this feeling, this vision, this vibratory gift. And she does the work. Do we, in the same way that Felicia is a master vocalist, musical artist, do we do the work to be masters within our own lives? Because if we're not living our dream, then trust and believe we're living somebody else's. And I mean, there's the multi-millionaire who is the COOMFPOQLMA of the company. And they're reaping 99.999% of the trillions of dollars coming into the company. And then there's Bob. Bob works in the mailroom, and Bob is barely getting by with minimum wage. In fact, Bob has to work 4 jobs so that he doesn't end up destitute, without a home, without food, naked in the street. He doesn't even show up at the office. He's there every day, early, stays late. Inequity. But until Bob, Steve, whoever this person is, says, you know what? How do I shift my consciousness? How do I save? How do I tithe to me first? How do I do all of these things to change my paradigms, to change this system so that I am no longer living and funding their dream, but I am able to live my own? Breathe. Ernest Holmes says, the Great Awakening now is high time to awake out of sleep. What sleep? When you say sleep, what do you mean sleep? It means existing, simply going through the same. Remember the old, if you're old enough like I am, you remember back in the day, there was a Dunkin' Donuts commercial. A dude woke up in the morning, I gotta make the donuts, and click, click, click by, and gotta make the donut, right? Awaking out of sleep. The Matrix, Neo, and Trinity, awaking out of the program of sleep. The belief in a life apart from good is a dream from which we must awake if we are to taste the waters of reality which flow from the source of life. Note, in one place there's the dream, and it's this thing to aspire to, to live. And then here, a dream is something to awaken from. Because in one place, it is the ideal, and in the other place, it is not necessarily a nightmare, but it is not the desired state. And yet they are both dreams, in the same way that there is faith. And faith used in reverse is worry. Faith used in is the life affirming knowingness. But both are faith, both on the spectrum. On the spectrum of dreaming, there is living the vision and there is succumbing to the nightmare on the spectrum of dream. Where on the spectrum are we? Bill Gates, the COOMOFFOMLMNOP of a company, right? Okay. If we're going to talk about it, we got to talk about toxic capitalism as well, but that's a different conversation. But he's the supercalifragilisticexpialidocious of a company. And he says vision without execution is daydreaming. So for him, daydreaming it's not the thing to do. Yet Einstein said that imagination is more important, more powerful than, you follow me, right? Than knowledge. The ability to imagine. And if we recall the story correctly, didn't E equals MC square come about for Einstein as a result of daydreaming per se, being in the dream? Just saying. Sometimes the daydreaming is the spiritual practice, because there's a difference between daydreaming and escaping. And yet there are some times where the escaping is also a necessary practice. But we have to, once again, be very clear. If there's a problem that is causing pain, that is causing me to want to escape reality, then the problem gets worse. For example, for those of you who know me or have known me over the years and watched or listened, then you know that I have this very interesting relationship to comfort foods, specifically sugar, in terms of when I do not want to deal with whatever emotions I may be feeling. There is a tendency, even still, there is a tendency to want to eat. So if there's a problem that's causing pain, how do I escape reality? Eat some cake and cookies and some pie with ice cream. Eat some cake and some cookies with some pie and ice cream while watching TV with Tracy. Well, then the problem gets worse, don't it? Because then I end up going back to being 310 pounds with high blood pressure and bad cholesterol as I once was over 12, 15, whatever years ago. So let's pause. There's a problem and it's causing pain. And so I go for my 5 mile or sometimes 10-mile walk. I'm quote unquote escaping reality. I'm giving myself the space to let that stuff go, to get anchored and grounded. And from that space, the problem doesn't get worse. I get clarity on what is mine to do regarding the problem. So be clear on, am I an escape artist who is using the power of escape to be life affirming or to be life denying? Because I can escape to give myself solitude, to give myself clarity, in order to now bounce back and address whatever I need to address. Or I can escape into drugs. I can escape into sex. I can escape into work. I can escape into it because it gives me the opportunity to not address my grief, to not address my anger, to not address my fear, to not address any of that. And in not addressing it, it gets worse. But I have to be clear that that's the practice if I want to change it. Sometimes you just need to escape in order to dream. Sometimes you need to escape, to step away from, in order to give yourself the capacity to have the vision, to hold the vision, to act upon the vision and live the dream. How many of us remember Miguel de Cervantes, the author of Don Quixote de la Mancha? And if you remember the story, Don Quixote, now in our modern language, Don Quixote experienced some form of dementia, Alzheimer's, something. And in this, he was serving in a capacity that he was not able to serve in his quote unquote right mind. And yet, as the knight errant that he was, he brought life to people. He was in this consciousness that said, I am willing to dream the impossible dream. I am willing to fight. I am willing to set boundaries against this foe that is unbeatable, racism, sexism. It's such a big thing. How cannot? But I am willing to do what is mine to do nonetheless. I am willing to feel my sorrow, my grief, my sadness. Though it weighs me down, I am willing to be present to it. I am willing to run to that space where brave folks do not go. I am willing to take what is wrong and shift the consciousness that it be right. I am willing to do this. I am willing to embody the dream. Are we? Are we willing to be so bold and so audacious to dream the impossible dream, to make that dream a lived reality? Are we willing? Because if we are, then we'll do the work. Whatever that work may be, prayer, meditation, time on our craft, whatever that is, writing, music, singing, dancing, American Sign Language, public speaking, whatever the craft is, gardening, whatever the craft is, am I willing to put in the time to nurture it, to hone it, to better it, to master it? Am I willing to volunteer? Am I willing to show up? Am I willing to be present to my community and my own pain and my family? Am I willing to do these things? Am I willing to follow that star? No matter, it may feel hopeless. Ending war, Ray, that feels so hopeless. Ending sexism, the Supreme Court and this whole, it feels so hopeless. And yet I am willing to hold the vision of hope, even while feeling hopeless. I am willing to be the person who knows that there is a way forward, even when that way forward may not be clear. I am willing to catch the dream, right? I am willing to be a physical embodiment of the dream catcher. I catch and I hold the vision. I catch and I hold the dream. I catch and I hold whatever it is that means a world that works for all, a life that works, a center that works, a community that works. I am willing to hold the dream so that the dream may manifest. Ernest Holmes goes on to say, it is necessary that soul and body should exist because spirit without manifestation would construct only a dream world, never coming to self realization. To express, there must be a medium through which spirit manifests, and there must be a manifestation, hence soul and body. Are we willing to be that medium through which soul is? It's already incarnating as us, but are we blocking the further manifestation of a world that works for all? Are we blocking the further expression of peace? You may say that I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. And in order to manifest a world that works for all, I hope someday you will join us and recognize that the world can, will, and is living as one. Are we willing to be the channel? Are we willing to hold the vision? Are we willing to not only have a dream, but to be the dream? Lenin didn't say, you may say that I have a dreamer, that I have a dream. You may say that I am a dreamer, one who is the dream. Are we willing to have it and be it to such a degree? The Buddha says, set your heart on doing good. Do it over and over again, and you will be filled with joy. Set your heart on doing good. Well, what is good? Well, if we pause and think about what Emma Curtis Hopkins says good is, my good is my God. Set your heart on doing God. Let your life be the very embodiment of the divine. Set your heart on doing, treat and move your feet. Set your heart on doing the divine and do it over and over. Repeatable action. See, Felicia doesn't just sing a song once and be like, yep, I didn't write it down. I don't have it memorized. It's not in me. So it's a one and you're done deal. Oops. No, because mastering her craft means repeatable action. Sing it and sing it and sing it and sing it and sing it until she and song are inseparable. There's only one. That which is the dream of the song, that which is the song, that which is the vibration of the universe expressing itself in, through, and as her. Do it over and over again, and you will be filled with joy. And because of the joy that Felicia is filled with, we now vibrate and resonate with that. We are entrained. You know, that process of entrainment. We now vibrate in the same rate. So if Felicia sings at a high vibration of love, then we now vibrate at that same level, simply by feeling and receiving what she's offering us. We don't have to sing. Our heart sings that song as she sings. Our soul sings that song as she sings. Set your heart on doing God and do God again and again and again, over and over and over and over again. And you will be filled with joy. With an invisible intelligence to guide and an immutable law to direct, let us take our place in any legitimate activity and thus cause our dreams to come to fruition, to come into manifestation. There's an immutable law that directs and an intelligence that guides. Let us take our place. Let us move into this realm of being what we are called to be, so that this dream, so that our dream, so that the vision of spirit comes to full manifestation. So if I were to sit down with you right now and ask, For those who are online right now, if I were to ask, what is your vision? Give me your vision statement. Give me your mission statement. Share with me your values, your purpose. Do you have one? And I don't mean the one for the center or the community, because the center and the community has one. And whatever we have ultimately should be in alignment with it. But we have our own. What is your vision? What is your mission? What is your purpose? What are your values? How do you live them and embody them so that when people see you, when they engage in conversation with you, when they are working with you, when whatever it is, when they are witnessing you, when they are feeling your vibration, this, they may not know the words, but they sense it, they feel it, they understand it. See, I don't know Felicia's specific vision. I keep picking on Felicia. Felicia gonna be mad at me. Why you keep picking on her? Because I love Felicia. Like, she's cool. Like, I like Felicia. My bad. Anyhow, I don't know Felicia's specific vision, mission, purpose, etc. But I would venture to say, because I know her well enough, to say that her values have something to do with family and love. That there's an element of self-care that she values, tending to her body temple, tending to her intellect and her emotions, that she has this mission to be the best musical artist, the best master of music that she can be. That there is a vision that these funnel into. Now, I don't know, part of her vision may be to get a Grammy one day. I don't know. I wouldn't doubt it. An Oscar one day, I wouldn't doubt it, but it may not be. She may have something other than that. However, nonetheless, her mission, her goals, her values, whatever that is, I guarantee you they're all in alignment to move her in that direction. How clear are we at any given moment, on any given day, with our own vision, mission, purpose, values, goals, etc.? As Muhammad says, a person's true wealth is the good they do in the world. See that vision, mission, purpose, values, goals. That's what we're doing in the world. See, it's all connected. Of course, it's all connected. There's only God, and God is always interconnected with itself. Not just interdependent, but intradependent and meta-dependent upon itself. Are we operating in alignment with that? So once again, clarify, what are your vision, mission, values, goals? What exactly are you doing? There are a great many wise words offered by a great many people regarding this. Are we embodying and doing the work? And as always, because I'm not staying on this long enough, as always, you can send Tracy an email or send me an email and get copies of the slides, just so you know you can have access to all of this. But I will go to Harriet Tubman. Every great dream begins with a dreamer. You may say that I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you will join us and the world. Every great dream begins with a dreamer. Always remember, you have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach for the stars. That star from the impossible dream, to follow that star, no matter how hopeless, no matter how far. Reach for the stars to change the world. Reach for the stars to change the world. You already have the power, the capacity, but are you doing the work? This week's practice, James Baldwin said, to act is to be committed, and to be committed is to be in danger. Ooh, chills. Are your dreams for your life, are your dreams for your life deep and big enough that it makes you, that danger of vulnerability, that danger of transparency, that danger of being audacious enough to step out there. Because if your goals, your dreams are so small that, everybody loves you, everybody likes you, then you're people pleasing. That's not living. Because the moment you step out there, someone's going to say, who does Felicia think she is? Who does Reverend Ray think he is? Who does Sonya think she is? How dare they have the audacity to be good at what they do? How dare they? But if we're simply people pleasing, then everybody's going to be like, oh, I just love Reverend Ray. I love Reverend Ray. Yeah, I love Sonya. I love Renuka. I love Felicia. I love Tracy. Most of the time, I love Tracy. As she laughs, right? But you get the idea. We have to push the boundaries. And in pushing the boundaries, there are going to be those who do not like. Are your dreams deep enough, wide enough, powerful enough that you push the boundaries? Number 2, do you feel that you and your dreams are enough? If yes, how did that sense grow in you? If not, how can you reframe your sense of yourself to be enough and to accept who you are finally? And then meditate upon the words of Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, who says, what is essential is invisible to the eye. Remember that invisible intelligence that Holmes talked about? What is essential is invisible to the eye. It is only with the heart that one sees rightly. And then lastly, have a conversation with 3 people about your vision, your mission, your purpose, your goals, your values, and how all of these things serve to guide you, to inspire you, to hold you accountable, and to call you into greater and greater forms of action. And what dreams do you currently have right now? Breathe. This week's declaration, our affirmation, I will say it first, and if you feel in alignment, say it with me. The dream of God is awake, alive, and active in me, as me. Together. The dream of God is awake, alive, and active in me, as me. So now let us anchor and ground in this thing we call prayer, recognizing that this has been good, it is good, and oh so good. That we are right now not simply having a dream, but we are living the dream. We are the dream. We are Spirit's dream of itself, for itself, about itself. And that dream is the realization, the manifestation, the expression of love itself, of life itself. For there is only one life, and that life is God. And that life is powerful. That life is whole. It is perfect. It is complete. It is joyful. It is celebratory. And that life is our life right now. And we breathe. And the law says yes. And we breathe, recognizing that we have this amazing opportunity to embody this and take it out into the world, to live the dream so powerfully that we break up the dream, the nightmare of what was based upon the collective consciousness, and we dream a new world, a world that works for all. One person, one thought, one life-affirming action at a time. And the law says yes. That means it's done. It's already answered prayer. And so it is. Love, blessings, appreciation,